Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in Frederick, Colorado, which is about 30 minutes north of the Denver airport. Today we're going to be going over an all-new 2025 Newmar Bay Star. So this is the 3014 floor plan. If you guys aren't familiar with the Bay Star, it has 9 floor plans that range from 30 to 38 feet long. And new for 2025, you have the option of that drop-down bunk. So that's really going to open up some more availability for sleeping, additional people, mainly kiddos, but yeah, really excited about that. And so we're gonna go ahead and take a walk around the outside, and then we'll show you all the luxuries of the inside. Before we get into it though, once you step into the world of the Bay Star, starting from the bottom, Bay Star Sport, and then into this level, you are automatically equipped with the Ford Assistant package. So that's gonna help you take the safety on the road as well to give you the best ride as possible. So we'll go into the details on that too, but I just wanted to kind of give you some awesome features the Bay Star has to offer before we get into it. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Starting over here with our rims and tires, nothing but the best, of course. We have those Michelin tires, and these are going to be the 255/80R, which are the 22.5s XRV. As we take a step up here, we just have a nice little latch for our door. I just wanted to kind of point that out before I skip over it and forget. But in case on windier days, you can go ahead and latch that door up so it doesn't flop around in the wind. You do have a nice little grab bar here, and then I'm just going to open the door briefly just so you can see you have nice 3 steps here that get pretty low to the ground for some nice graceful entrance. Right here is just our floor plan. So it is a 30-footer, 30 feet 11 inches to be exact, and that 14 is just the floor plan. And then going into our first bay here, we just have our Xantrax inverter and then our tanks here. It did get opted into an upgrade having the tank heating pads, so that's great for winter to kind of keep those tanks nice and cozy so you don't have to worry about any freeze damage. And then as we step up, taking in that full body paint here, just beautiful, simple colors, nothing too crazy. We just have the white, black, and gray. And then of course that emblem for that Bay Star, in addition to the Newmar. As we work our way up, we have those beautiful windows. Those ones are both just going to pop out to kind of get you a nice cross breeze. And then up at top, that Carefree awning. Once it is fully out, it does have a nice light strip in it too, so you can go ahead and light up that campground. All right, now we'll get into our second bay here. This bay is a little bit more for some awesome storage space. And then we do just have the ladder stowed in here right now for that drop-down bunk, because we did opt into that option here. And then up above that, we just have our Suburban heater. Next bay here, nothing too crazy, but you do have some charging. Your GFCI right there, you got 2 of them. Which is, I like how it's kind of midship, so you can kind of open that up and charge any, speakers or anything like that. Here is just our water heater. I like how it is a little bit lower. It's not too high or right in the middle of the coach, so it's kind of not an eye level, which is kind of nice. Slide back here. We have our Cummins own-on generator, so this is the 5500 QG. Plenty of generator here for this coach. And then this one is gonna give us most of our storage space, in addition to almost having like that pass-through storage. So if you have any longer, lengthier items, this is not only, a pass-through storage, but it's a little wider than that other one we've seen that the ladder was in. So this is going to be one of the bigger options for the storage that we have on this floor plan. Alrighty. Now that we're at the rear, we'll go ahead and just start at the top. This one is equipped with 2 ACs, and then we have our backup camera, and we do have 1 solar panel on there. It's just a 10-watt solar panel for that chassis battery, and it is pre-wired for solar panels. So if you did want to go ahead and get solar on this coach, we can do that here at Transwest, and then it's already pre-wired, so that's going to kind of help with the cost, so you don't have to do any drilling or wiring or anything like that. It's kind of more of like a plug-and-play situation. And then the Bay Star is very popular just because a lot of people like this big window whenever they come in. It's kind of like an awe factor. So once we get inside, you'll kind of see a better look at that, but that's going to be in that master bedroom to give you a lot of natural light. And just kind of some way to see out the back door, kind of like a car situation. You don't really, given the length, but it's just more of like a comfortability thing, I think, in my opinion. And then we do have our 5,000 pound towing capacity here with the hitch. And then to the right of that, that's just our exhaust for that generator. And then we do have tucked away here, just a little nice pre-wire for those brake lights if you wanted to go ahead and tow a tow vehicle. And then we just have a ladder here too, just in case you wanted to go ahead and get on that roof, check things out. You have the option of doing that. Alrighty, starting on our driver's side here, we have our surge guard protector and our 50 amp shore power cord here. And then you do have a nice little place where you can go ahead and slinky through the shore power cord so you could still close this bay door and have it locked. Next to that, we have just a special spot dedicated for any of those hoses, slinkies, anything you want to shove in there that's a little bit on the dirtier side that you don't want touching anything else. And then we have our fuel tank here. So this is a gasoline coach. Oops, it's on a Ford V8, which we'll go ahead and get into the chassis specs when we head up to the front here. And then we have another storage compartment with a nice little light that you have to switch on and off. Alrighty, here is going to be our wet bay. Pretty simple, clean, not too much going on, so we like that. As far as the tank capacities, our gray is going to be 60, our black is 40, and then our fresh is 75. We have our filter right here. As you can see, it's out, it's not inside right now just because we do have it winterized. And then we have our outdoor shower here with the nozzles, and then we have our freshwater connection, our black tank rinse. Here is where you will go ahead and dump. I kind of opened this up right now so you kind of had a way to kind of see the hole here. And then your the sewage is going to be to the left, and then the waste for the black is going to be to the right there. All right. We just have another storage compartment here. Here are our batteries. So you have a total of 4 of the Harris professional batteries. And then our huge propane tank to kind of wrap up the last bay door here. All right, and then we have our side cameras here, our nice little emblem for that V8 Ford. And then in the front here, this is just where our chassis is and our chassis batteries. This is on a Ford F53 chassis, and it's packed with a 7.3 liter V8 engine. So that's going to give us 335 horsepower with 468 foot-pounds of torque. And then this is going to go into that driver's assistant package I was kind of telling you guys about earlier. So this includes the forward collision mitigation system, our automatic high beams, automatic emergency braking, distance indication and alert, and then the lane departure warning system. All right, and now we'll go ahead and take our first glimpses of the inside. I'll let you guys enter first. The slides are all in, but I do have the lights on. Close that door. Alrighty. So as you can see, plenty of space here. There's no, squeezing, shuffling, any of that goodness. This floor plan is going to have 2 slides. So you're going to have your full wall slide right over here, and then you're going to have one more slide in that bedroom. Just kind of wanted to walk through here to kind of show you how much space you have when the slides are closed. So I always say it with floor plans like this is perfect for not only kiddos, but also for animals, dogs, bigger dogs that you kind of want to have some maneuverability. A lot of people buy RVs for their dogs, so I always like to say that in each and every video that does give that kind of space to. So this one is again the 3014 floor plan, very spacious when the slides are in. And now we'll go ahead and open up that first slide. And as far as the interior decor, this is the Stowe decor. And then it's the Mesa glazed maple for our wood finish, and it's the Swade. So it's not really shiny, doesn't give a gloss to it. In a way, I would say it's kind of like a matte. Perfect. Now we have that first one open. We'll go ahead and come back here to our master, and we'll get this one open. And while I'm opening this, you can also see that big window I was kind of talking about when we were outside. And then this is a king bed with a pillow top mattress. Another cool thing about the Bay Star is that you have a bigger interior height. So I did write this down to kind of mention to you guys. So it's 8 foot 4 inches high. So that's really going to give you, a bigger sense of kind of feeling homey. You're not going to feel as restricted, especially having this full wall slide. Alrighty, perfect. Now we have everything opened up and we're completely camp ready. Just was those 2 slides. Nice and quick and easy. I did want to mention too, this flooring, in addition to the carpet that's on that slide, it's the vinyl plank flooring. Again, it's more of a matte. It's not really glossy. It's not really slick either. In my personal opinion, I'm not a big fan of any of the slick floors, especially, with rain or snow or anything like that. Or even just dirt. It just makes it even slicker. All right, we'll start from the top. We'll just go ahead, and we have a nice big storage compartment here. It is through and through, and you do have 2 options in there for charging, and then you can sleeky them through on either side. So if you had any cords and you wanted to go ahead and have them bedside so you could still plug them in while using them, you have that option to do so as well. And if you didn't want to do that, you have some more charging over here, including the USB. So you kind of have USB and USB-C. So you don't have to worry about having those, the little cubes, I call them, especially if you forget them, you still have the option of doing that. And then some more storage, bedside. I do have all the lights on everywhere. So as you can see, you have little accent lights inside, just around your bed. And then you do have additional lights under here, which can also dual as reading lights if you wanted them. But each individual light can be turned on and off. So if you wanted to kind of set the mood and just have your accent lights on and it's night, it really kind of makes it kind of a lower, kind of like a candle lit light kind of situation. I'll show you a different screen, but I just wanted to point out you do have a nice little control panel here, so you can turn off and on that generator, set the lights, turn on your water pump, any of that good stuff. So if you forget to do anything and you already got all comfy and cozy in bed, you can go ahead and just have the luxury of turning them off from your bed. All right, directly across our king bed, we have our nice little hanging closet. There is a cushion in here just because that dinette we have turns into a bed, and this is the cushion we would need to do so. But you can see you have a nice, pretty spacious closet here to hang some things. And then you have a total of 5 drawers down below. I'm just going to go ahead and open them briefly. They are all soft close, without really getting in your way. I didn't open them all completely, but you get the point. This one just needs a little push. And then this one down below, just because it is directly underneath that TV, that's where you would put any receivers. That's why it kind of has like that glass in between, just to make it nice and accessible for those remotes. Nothing is more irritating than when the remote is not working. So I love how they have that little glass thing there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and open this up so you can see we have a nice little emergency door, window, I guess more so to say, as far as for another safety thing. And then we do have not only the day shade, which I had down, but you do have a nice little blackout. In addition to the big window, you can black that out as well. All right, this is the slide controller for the bedroom. So this is the only controller in addition to that little 5-inch touchscreen panel that you have underneath you for the bed. As far as for the for the bedroom, we have our Norcold fridge and freezer here. So you can go ahead and set the temperatures up above. But pretty spacious. I like how they went to kind of like 2 latches that lock, in addition to having this little lock too here for the freezer. And they actually have a nice little built-in latch too, so you don't have to worry about kind of having that little plastic thing, you know, done aftermarket. Perfect for summer. We have a nice ice maker in here as well. And we'll just go ahead and continue on with the kitchen, and then I'll show you our mid-bath after. All right, a new cool feature for 2025 is not only is it convection, but it is also air fried. Once you open it up, then you can kind of tell a little bit more that it is air fry. But you kind of have all the accessory tips, and sorry, I'm going to switch sides with you really quick. I have a little accessory tips here to kind of help you walk you through the air fry configuration. But just so you know, you have the air fry button here, grill, cook, so many different features. A lot of customers were coming in and just still wanting an oven, and the, you know, the convection part was satisfying. But I love having the air fryer just because everyone has an air fryer mainly today at home, and then having to find the storage to kind of take it with you in an RV can sometimes be a little, you know, challenging. So having this air fryer method in here is awesome. All right, we have a 3-burner propane, all the same size too, so it's nice not having to forfeit one to a smaller burner. And this nice countertop here that folds and collapses, so you don't have to worry about stowing that away anywhere. And then I'll just go ahead and move this napkin here. Huge sink. I like how it's more of like a darker gray instead of that silvery. Kind of brightens that countertop. And sliding on back, we have that beautiful kitchen window that does open too. So if you are cooking anything and it gets a little smoky or you want some ventilation, you can go ahead and open up that one. And then we'll just go ahead and go into the storage. I'll keep this side closed just so you guys can kind of see that one. And then I'll go ahead and go to the bottom here. We have our little trash can. I don't know if you have noticed too, just closing them and opening them, you don't hear like that boing boing boing. It shows you how sturdy and just, you know what I mean, the overall quality of these cabinets. Nothing super flimsy, everything's pretty hard and heavy duty. You don't have to feel like you got to open them gracefully or you're gonna break it. So I love that. And then again, soft close on a gas is another great touch. And we're going to close it off with the 3 big drawers here, as long as I don't pinch my fingers. And then you have all your nice little remotes for the Bose and your TV and all that good stuff in here as well. And then just the black appliances are just really satisfying too. But alrighty, that's going to close off our kitchen. We're going to jump back over here. Gonna go over our nice big control panel here. This is just when you first touch it, shows you Newmar. Go to the home page, it's gonna show you an overview of everything, and then you can go to your charging, see your house and chassis batteries, and then this is going to be for your AC and your heater. You just want to make sure this is something where you can turn on and off from here, and then you can go ahead and configure it. You have an app that you can download that's accessible from your phone, so you can go ahead and do the configurations there. And then our last screen is going to be the lights. Alrighty, now we're gonna go ahead and step into our mid bath. I'll just go ahead and start from the top here and work our way down. We have our first storage here with our control panel as well. Nice little corner section here with some shelves, which is fairly deep. And then our medicine cabinet with a few shelves as well. Down below here, we do have some charging. We have another light here to kind of light up all of our counter space there. Fancy bowl, and then some more storage directly below. Again, that chain to kind of help you from not hitting our Dometic toilet there. And then a nice big drawer right next to it. And then once I open this, that's where our toilet paper holder will be. I like how it's nice and hidden, but you just want to make sure guests know where it's at. And then to close it off, we have our shower again. So this is where the Bay Star comes and handy for those taller people. Automatically having that extra height, I believe it was 8 foot 4 inches. I mean, I'm 5'8" and I have a ridiculous amount of headroom still. It feels really spacious. So not only having that extra height in the living room and the kitchen, but I feel like the icing on the cake is the shower for sure. Just given that this is a 30-foot coach, is a little bit smaller. Normally people sacrifice the shower, but Newmar went above and beyond to kind of make sure that this is important to our customers. So they made sure that they gave you a nice spacious shower in the Bay Star, glass shower curtain with a latch. So that kind of helps it keep it easier to clean. Whoops. And I just wanted to go ahead and close completely off on me. Alrighty. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and wrap up our bathroom area. We have a pocket door here as well as in the bedroom too that I just kind of forgot to mention. All right, now we're going to slide on over to our living room area. We have our TV propped over here in the corner with a nice little shelf counter space action here with our bows. And then we have some more storage in here as well. Very long. And then this one is just kind of like a little cabinet space, but still, I mean, perfect for, you know, chips, all the bigger items. And then again, another spot here, perfect for the receivers, just because of that glass, so you don't have any situations going on where you're getting frustrated with the TV remote not listening to you. And then I'm just going to go open these. It's kind of crazy. Until you kind of come and see one, I never really have to get on my tippy toes to kind of open the cabinet, so it's just crazy to see how much of a difference it feels opening things up just because of that interior height. All right. Then down below we have our beautiful window. This is kind of what I was mentioning earlier, how these both open up in 2 separate pieces. So if you kind of want some cross breeze from this and then directly across from you where our couch is, you have the option to open up all those windows. And then this booth is something that it will go ahead, you unlatch it and push it down and it will create into a bed. And then you have charging too, which is kind of nice to have bedside or even just in the booth dinette if you wanted to go ahead and charge your phone. And then underneath here, you do have some more storage as well. All right. Now that we wrapped up our booth dinette, we're going to jump over here to our couch. This is another option here that it does go ahead and fold out into a bed. So not only do you have the booth dinette, which can sleep some littles, but you have another option here for some sleeping and then the bunk overhead. But before we get in too ahead of ourselves, here is some more storage here. And then these ones are a little lower, so it won't be as challenging if you are a little bit shorter to kind of open up these ones. Those ones are just a little bit bigger, so I would personally store things away that you don't necessarily need to get to every day, but at least you have them. And then here is another one of those control panels, since I actually haven't walked you through what it looks like because of the one in the bedroom. This is just kind of the home screen. You can go ahead and pretty much do the same thing you could do on that big one. Go ahead and set the temperatures for the living room or bedroom. The same charging situation for your house and chassis batteries, all the tank levels. You can check on your propane, and then the lights. So nothing too crazy there. A lot of people opt into the theater seat, but the couch is awesome just because it turns into a bed. And then on either side, no matter where you're sitting, since you're right next to the kitchen, you still have somewhere to set down your drinks. And then having this little ledge too, you still kind of have somewhere to set down a drink. So you don't have to feel like you have to hold it the whole time you have it. So I like that. And then just to close it off, we have a little bit of storage here as well. Alrighty. Now we're just going to go ahead and jump into this main section here for all of our control panels. The main thing I wanted to show you was our bed lift. You do need a key to kind of operate it. But then we have our Truma, which we want to make sure that we're turning on before we go to our touchscreen to set the temperatures. We have our awning lights, and then this is just for our step. You can turn that on and off as far as for the steps to come out automatically when you open the door, or if you want them just to stay out standard for like a camp setup. We have our slide out controller here, and then our carefree awning controller, so you have to turn that on in order to use it and then turn it off. Just a nice little safety feature there. And then our Xantrax, in addition to our power control system where you can kind of scroll through all of the things, the water heater, AC, the amps, and what kind of services need to be done. And then we'll go ahead and turn this on for our bed. It is already on. You do have 2 keys, so that's nice to have an option to have a secondary key in case you lose that one. And then just with the push of a button, you're gonna go ahead and bring it down. Perfect. And then just so you know, I didn't stop it. It automatically stops there. So kind of right when it gets to that. And then for that ladder that we had underneath the bay, you'll just go ahead and latch that here, and then you have the option of having some additional sleeping area. I would say it's kind of like a twin extra long situation, but it is a little bit wider, so I don't really want to say it's a full, but it's in between both. But I mean, you could comfortably sleep 2 people up there. And now we'll go ahead and bring it back up so I can show you the storage that we have on this as well. As you can see, we have the 3 little cabinets there for some additional storage. All right. Oh, these ones you have to, once you open them, you have to hold them open. But these 2 are nice and pass through. And then the last one here, I just want it in its own little storage spot. Now we will go ahead and I will turn the chassis on so you can just kind of see that dash. All right. As it's slowly turning on, we'll go ahead and just talk about our leveling system right over here. So we have the EQ systems. You do want to go ahead and turn that on. Everything will light up. And then when you want to level it, you just go ahead and push auto level. It'll level everything out, and it will light up all 4 of the leveling jacks just to ensure you that everything is nice and leveled out properly. I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off. You have a nice little cup holder here, a battery boost, which is awesome in a pinch. If you have some battery left in your chassis and you need to use that to jump your house, you can do that, or vice versa. You have your generator start, your fans, dome light. We have some wireless charging here, and then our controllers for our mirrors. So we can turn this on for heated mirrors, and then just our controllers to set our mirrors properly. Our hazard lights, and then just to go ahead and turn it on and off for our lane changing departure system. Our TCS off here, and then we just have all of the light configurations. And then we do have a nice little 12-volt charging down here too, just in case you needed that. And then our forward steering wheel, all of our little configurations are right here to go ahead and flip through our dash, and then to set our cruise control. Whoops, let me just go ahead and go back here. Perfect. So we just have our LED dash here. We can flip through, so we can set a favorites page so it's easier to get to while you're driving. And then we have our trip and fuel in this section, a vehicle information overview, and then our settings tab. And then right over here, we just have our touch screen. You can go to the home, and sorry, there is a nice little sticker on here still that we keep on. We have our radio, our Sirius XM. It is equipped with Android and iPhone for the CarPlay. You can set up the USB to plug that in. All of our cameras here. Perfect. And then down below here, we just have our nice little radio, so we can adjust the volume. Whoops. Go ahead and turn that back down. And we just have nice little modes too, so if you don't want to use the touchscreen, you have a nice little overview here to use buttons. We just have a nice storage spot here. Down below here is just our camera select, so we can flip through the cameras without having to go ahead and push the button. Or, you know, while you're driving, if you just want to see a specific camera, you can go ahead and flip through those. This is just our shade controller for that front windshield, and then our AC and our heating right over here. And then we have some more cup holders in the middle here. And then for that passenger side, we do have the wireless charging as well, in addition to a cup holder and a little cubby with some more charging And then both of these seats do swivel, recline, and you do have the leg rest, of course, to kind of make your traveling a little bit more luxurious, kind of being able to prop up those feet. Or if you kind of wanted to have the best of both worlds, I always say to my customers, this is kind of a secondary theater seat option. If you can't have that, you need the couch for the sleeping. These kind of dual is the same thing, just spin that around and they do about the same thing. But if you guys had any comments, questions, or concerns about anything in the Newmar line, but specifically the Bay Star for today, I'd be happy to walk through any other different floor plan configurations or figure out what best suits you guys. So you can give me a call at my information below, which is 970-388-7937. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and have a great day.